Hello, welcome. Welcome. This is the global community for adults who are healing complex trauma, healing CPTSD. My name is Athena, and I'll be facilitating our time together tonight. We've all been joining here together and meeting up with one another and sort of doing life together about once a week for over 10 years now. This summer it will be 11 years. It's hard to believe, right? So many of you that I see so regularly. We've been on this healing journey together for so long. Many of you have been here about the whole time. So, a very warm welcome to you if you are new to our community. I'd like to warmly welcome you. We are a warm, welcoming bunch. If you have just stumbled across this video in your recommended feed, my hand is on my heart in gratitude for all of our community members that choose to leave comments or like or subscribe. These are some of the simplest and yet most impactful ways that you can continue to support the work of the Foundation for Post-Traumatic Healing and Complex Trauma Research. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to raising awareness about the reality and the effects of repeated relational trauma, usually beginning in childhood. And we have groups very similar to this, very similar to what you experience on a Monday. We have two of them. We have calls twice a day, every day, 365 days a year. It just depends on the topic. So one day it might be Q&A, and another day it might be nervous system regulation, which is what we've been focusing on here on Mondays. And on another day, we might be focusing on life skills or trauma-sensitive yoga or creativity to aid in the healing of complex trauma. Sometimes it's something as simple as glimmers, which are the opposite of triggers, micro moments of grounded, neutral, calm, moments where we're able to be in touch with what's going on in the present moment. So just a very special thank you to each of you who have supported this work for so many years, for the better part of a decade, and many of you for more than a decade. I count myself very fortunate, very lucky, very blessed to have you in my life, and thank you for allowing me to be in your lives as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Our theme this week is self-advocacy. And our journal prompt in the title of our video this week, we are contemplating what self-advocacy might look like for you. What does self-advocacy look like for you? It's just an invitation, no pressure. But that is our journal prompt this week. I look forward to reading your responses. And before we get started with our quote from Young Pueblo and our gentle breath work, I want to invite you to get into a comfortable position, and I'm going to just pause and say hello to each of you who are here for our weekly discussion group. Hello to you, Jeffrey Sherman. Hello. Hello to you, Jen. Good evening. I'm waving back to you. Hello, mighty love. Good evening to you. I'm waving and sending hearts and smiles back to you, Jeffrey Sherman. Hello to you, Beth. Oh, Beth says hello. First time here. We warmly welcome you, Beth. We're so glad you're here. Hello, Candida. Hello to you, Kitty. We're so glad to have you. Hello, John Harvey. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for just all of your Blue Wrench crew awesomeness. John Harvey has been a moderator and a community member here for the better part of a decade, and I'm just so extremely grateful for your presence. Thank you. A warm welcome to you, Alfonso. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well, Alfonso. Thank you so much for your presence. Hello to you, Katie. Katie says, hi. I've been here before, but mostly listen to the replays. I'm having a rough day. Hi, everyone. Oh, Katie. My hand is on my heart. I'm so sorry you're having a rough day. And I'm very grateful you chose to be here with us. Thank you for all of the sweets, John Harvey. I thought of you this weekend. Someone bought me a vegan cinnamon roll. It was so delicious and ooey gooey, scrumptious, awesome. Just, oh my gosh, it was so good. I didn't know if it would be good because it was vegan. But God, you know how I was just going to say, gosh, like it was so satisfying and mouthwatering and delicious. And sometimes vegan treats tend to either taste like coconut oil or applesauce or something, and they just taste weird sometimes, like texture wise. But man, was it good. So highly recommend. I'm not sure where it was from. Maybe a local donut shop or something. Hello to you, Betsy. John Harvey says, self-advocacy, standing up and speaking up for yourself. I love that, John Harvey. Thank you for sharing. Hello to you, AJ. We warmly welcome you. Jen says, self-advocacy for me means at least trying to get my needs met, not being so much of a people pleaser. Yes. Oh, that's kind of what it's looking like for me right now as well. And you know what? The last few days, specifically, self-advocacy for me meant slowing down. I had to slow down. Sometimes I'm just moving too fast and too focused on healing as fast as I can. And my mentor, Marshall, often reminds us that when we are healing complex trauma, slow is fast, small is big. And it's been very true for me. So, oh, John Harvey says, I ate broccoli and it wasn't that bad. I love some broccoli, John Harvey. I'm glad that it wasn't that bad. Kitty says, I think for me, self-advocacy would be not letting people treat me poorly. Absolutely. That sounds like a boundary as well. Dr. Ariel is talking about boundaries today. And Young Pueblo has a little quote here about, it was right in alignment with our theme. It was, it was in the realm of self-advocacy. Alfonso says, self-advocacy for me is really setting boundaries with others and learning how to say no. Yes. Jeffrey Sherman says, that sounds terrifying. And Kitty, that too. Yes. Sometimes it can feel terrifying. Sometimes it can. I really want to validate that. Jen says, I told my therapist today that my brain feels like it's on a treadmill. Calm? What is that? Ooh. Yeah, I've had to slow down the last few days because I was pushing myself too hard and holding myself to some unrealistic standards and expectations. And then I did something not very smart. I agreed to take a friend of mine to the airport at like 3 in the morning. And which means I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, which means I didn't really get any sleep. And then I had a full work day the next day. And it's taken me, let's see, 1, 2, 3, like today is day 4. And I'm really trying to get back into sync where my body feels like it's not sleep deprived and crazy. But yeah, I'm a little bit on the struggle bus today, you all. So thank you for just being you. As I mentioned in the beginning of our time together today, we do have calls like this twice a day, every day. And I meant to post a link at the beginning of chat, and then I started reading and then I didn't. So I'm going to post it now. And as I mentioned last week, hello, Quiet Inside. So grateful to have you with us. Welcome, welcome. We're welcoming a couple of new people as well. Welcome back to you. So here is a link to our group that's away from social media. And I'm getting ready to beta test a podcast, season 1 of a podcast. I'm going to beta test it this summer. And it's obviously all about like our healing journey and healing CPTSD, but I'm beta testing it over in that group. So looking for as much feedback as possible, and just really grateful. So before we get settled in for our gentle breath work together, I want to read you what young Pueblo says on the topic of self-advocacy. He says, sometimes you need to move slowly so you can then move powerfully. The modern world is so fast-paced that you feel the pressure to keep up. Setting aside what everyone else is doing and moving at your natural speed will help you make better decisions and lift up your inner peace. Yeah, I might have needed that little piece of advice. I didn't realize, I think, like on the topic of just sort of unraveling at the seams these past 4 days, I don't think I realized how crucial my sleep hygiene is to my own mental and emotional, physical, and overall well-being. I've been participating in this thing called sleep hygiene for the past 3 or 4 years. And it's basically you have your sleep schedule, and it's pretty much the same. Every evening you have a nighttime routine. Every morning you have a morning routine. And there are no devices. like no like social media screen time or televisions or anything like that. There's nothing electric going on in like where I'm sleeping. I do have a white noise machine that plays peaceful sounds, and I do read before bed every night, sometimes on my Kindle, but I'm not connected with other humans or doing blue light or television or anything that's stimulating. And I have blackout curtains, and the room is at a cooler temperature so that I sleep more soundly without waking up. And I've been doing that consistently for 3 or 4 years, with the exception of when I go visit my son and my daughter-in-law and my grandson, at which point, I have to adjust and then find my new version of sleep hygiene when I'm there, which usually means I'm going to start lying down around the same time I would lie down typically, and just having a lot of extra alone time so that I'm not overly stimulated. Because if I'm spending time with my grandson, who's going to be 3 years old, then I'm sometimes overstimulated because he's such a joy to be around and he's a toddler. So, yeah, I think part of the reason why I've been on the struggle bus for 4 days is because my entire routine was thrown off, and no one forced me to take her to the airport. There was a flight cancellation, and there was a change in itinerary, and I paused and I checked in with myself, and I wanted to take her so that she could see her family. I did not take into consideration that I would be living with the consequences of that for nearly a week. So it was a little short-sighted on my part. Probably not the wisest decision, to be quite honest. And at the same time, there's no way I could have known. It's one of those things that you don't really figure it out unless you try. I mean, I'm 51 years old, and I haven't woken up at 2:30 in the morning in a really, really, really long time. So logic would dictate that I could surmise that it would not have been a wise decision. But I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. She's a mother. She's a grandmother. She just wanted to see her family. And we were moments from the airport when she got the call that her flight was canceled and rescheduled for the following morning at a different airport 50 miles away. So that meant that we needed to turn around, go back, go to sleep for as long as possible, wake up at 2:30 in the morning, and get her to the airport by 4 so that she could board by 5 and depart by around 6 or something like that. So, not the smartest decision on my part, but I love her and I love her family, and I love that she got to see her adult children, because so often, it's so very important. So that is why I'm on the struggle bus. And that is why I am inviting each of you right now to settle in, because thank you for all your feedback, by the way. But this week, I am sharing once again a photograph that I took in a moment when I glanced out and I saw the clouds lighting up. I knew that it would be one of the last times that I saw a sunset like that from my patio. I knew that it was approaching time to advocate for myself. So in the moment that I took this photo that you're looking at on the screen, what self-advocacy looked like for me in this moment was capturing this memory and sitting in solitude and realizing that no one could ever take the memory of this moment away from me, regardless of what my future looked like, regardless of what I needed to do to advocate for my own self. So, this photo is very special to me because in this moment, I was very clear on the realization that I needed to advocate for myself, and I was going to do whatever it took to make sure that I took care of myself, even if it meant not experiencing moments like this in the future. So, for each of us, there are going to be moments when we realize that we need to advocate for ourselves, and we can see that it's going to include some form of sacrifice or choice. There's going to be something that we need to give up in order to advocate for ourselves. Sometimes the choice is simple. Sometimes what we're giving up is poor treatment, unkindness, a lack of warmth. Sometimes, in order to advocate for ourselves, we're walking away from someone who has little to no empathy, or they don't know what it's like to offer a warm witness to our pain. Perhaps they've never been able to fully acknowledge our autonomy and our worth and our value, separate from anyone else. Perhaps the choice that we're making is walking away from a person, place, or thing that feels invalidating of our lived experience and our reality that we know to be true. Those choices seem a little more plausible and reachable and understandable. But other times, on the outside, the situation we're in, it looks like rainbows and oceans and sunsets. The outside looks like paradise, while on the inside, there could be a void. There could be a sadness, an emptiness, a loss of connection, a feeling of loneliness deep in your bones. Sometimes painful situations look like sunshine and rainbows and sunsets and oceans and clouds and butterflies on the outside, but the reality is so much different on the inside. So whatever it is that you are contemplating for your own self-advocacy, please just know that I believe you. I see you. I honor you. I honor your journey, your process, your healing, the choices you need to make for you. So I'm going to read to you a piece that I wrote on self-advocacy. Feel free to get into a comfortable position. We're going to have some gentle breath work before we do our compassionate healing strategy with Dr. Ariel. How's the volume of the meditation music? I want to make sure the volume is peaceful, appropriate. Thank you, quiet inside. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, mighty love. That's real talk, Kitty. That's real talk right there. I hear you. I just had to get a different computer because of that very situation. Thank you, Bora Bora. Welcome. Warm welcome to anyone I haven't greeted by name. So glad to have you here. Oh, let's see, Jeffrey Sherman. There we go. So let's take a moment and settle in. Honoring our own comfort in whatever way feels right for us today. Perhaps we can find a seated or lying down position, allowing our bodies to feel fully supported. And if for any reason we need to be standing or walking, may we do so gently and mindfully, bringing full awareness to each step. And if it feels safe, I want to invite you to close down your eyes, inviting a sense of peace and quiet within. And if closing the eyes doesn't feel comfortable today, perhaps we soften our gaze, allowing ourselves to remain present in a way that feels safe enough and just right for today. So let us take a slow breath in together. And as we gently exhale, may we allow our shoulders to drop. May we allow our jaw to soften. and our body to settle just a little bit more. Let us breathe slowly in again together. And on our exhale, let us send gratitude to ourselves for all we have carried, for all we are currently carrying, for the ways we continue to show up for ourselves, for the choices we continue to make in service of our own safety and our own well-being. Now bringing gentle awareness to our heart space. May we notice the steady rhythm of our heart, our beautiful heart that has carried us through every moment of our lives. And if it feels right, I invite you to place a gentle hand on your heart space. And gently contemplate the words, "We are worthy of peace. We are worthy of our own gentleness. We are worthy of self-advocacy." Gentle breath in, and on your exhale, I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of my own gentleness. I am worthy of self-advocacy. Just inviting us to pause for a moment to reflect. What does it mean to listen to ourselves? What does it mean to honor our own needs, our own voice, our own knowing? Perhaps self-advocacy begins for each of us with these small moments, pausing to ask ourselves, what do we need? Giving ourselves permission to take up space. Allowing our thoughts and feelings to exist right here without judgment. And when thoughts arise, or worries, or emotions, it's okay. Everything is welcome here. May we allow all thoughts and worries and emotions in this space pass gently through. Let us take a slow breath in together. We are allowed to advocate for ourselves. And as we breathe out together, releasing any doubts, our needs matter. And no matter where we are in our unique healing journey, contemplation, like we've had together today, can be a gentle path forward. In the quiet moments like this, in the small choices, in the way we return to ourselves, here, week after week, month after month, year after year, with curiosity and care. We are allowed to pause. And we are allowed to seek clarity. We are allowed to advocate for ourselves at our own pace. We are learning. We are growing. We are here. Let us take one last gentle, steady breath in and exhale slowly. And when we feel ready, may we gently bring ourselves back to this moment, here in this space that we have cultivated together, knowing that this space that we have created together for reflection and self-advocacy, this space is always within reach. Joining together here with you, each of you, for more than a decade is such a gift. Both of my hands are on my heart space. I'm glancing at each of you. There are 30 of us in this room together right now. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here for you. In the theme of self-advocacy, Dr. Ariel is inviting us to a compassionate healing strategy on the topic of asserting our boundaries. This is right in alignment with what you were sharing earlier when we first began our time together. This is from page 141 of Dr. Ariel's book, titled A Practical Guide to Complex PTSD, Compassionate Strategies to Begin Healing from Childhood Trauma. Dr. Ariel says, this healing strategy is focused on helping us develop our boundaries. Boundaries help us assert our separateness, an essential part of healthy differentiation. Boundaries can also help us set limits on our inner critic or any self-harming behaviors. One way for us to define our boundaries is to know ourselves and to know our limits. So when it comes to interactions with other people, are we willing to accept rude or aggressive behavior? How do we know when someone has crossed the line? How do we feel when someone else treats us disrespectfully? How do we feel when we treat ourselves aggressively or disrespectfully? It is also helpful for us to know our values when asserting healthy boundaries. So let us explore our values. How do we feel when we or someone else behaves in a way that is not in alignment with our values? Dr. Ariel is providing a list of statements that represent healthy boundaries. So let us pause and check in with ourselves. How do we feel as we hear each of these statements? Please feel free to share in the chat box anything that comes up for you. The more we share, the more others can benefit as well. Perhaps explore bringing these statements into your life to help you assert your boundaries to yourself and to others. So I'm going to read to you 8 statements. Please feel free to share anything that comes up for you. Statement number 1. I can say no, even if someone else doesn't like it. Remembering to breathe. Statement number 2. I can change my mind even if I disappoint someone. Statement number 3. It is not okay for anyone to humiliate me. Statement number 4. I have the right to ask for more information when I am confused. Statement number 5. It is okay to tell someone that I do not like how they are speaking to me. Statement number 6. I can leave the room if someone yells at me. Statement number 7. I can end relationships that are hurtful to me. And statement number 8. I can tell myself to stop being so critical or hurtful to me. Slow breath in together. And out. So we have our Loving the Self affirmation written by Lisa A. Romano. This is from her free downloadable book titled Loving the Self Affirmations. And this is from page 43. And Lisa says, in the past, I tended to ignore my gut instincts or my intuition because I preferred not to confront issues I thought might upset the apple carts in my life. Today, I will honor those hunches, and I will refuse to allow myself to continue to slip into states of denial. It is what it is, and people are who they are. I will no longer allow myself to get lost trying to get other people to change so that I can feel better. Today, I know that the only thing I can control is me. And that feels empowering. Slow breath in together. And out. Now let's read that through together one more time in a little bit more CPTSD friendly way, just in case it didn't land and it didn't feel true or possible. One more time, page 43. In the past, sometimes I ignored my gut instincts or my intuition because I was afraid to confront issues I thought might upset the apple carts in my life. But today, I am open to the possibility of learning to honor those hunches, to honor my intuition. Today, I'm doing my best to refuse to allow myself to slip into states of denial. I know now it is what it is and people are who they are. Today, I am learning what it looks like to no longer allow myself to get lost in trying to get other people to change. Today, I am learning that the only thing I can control is me. And that feels empowering. Slow breath in together. And breathing out together. Just pausing to check in with you. I see you. I honor you. Thank you so much to each of you who are sharing. Oh my goodness. Hello, recovery buddy. So good to see you, Ninja Taco. Hello, Angela. Long time no see. So happy to see you. Hello to anyone else I didn't greet by name. Hello, Bora Bora. Yes, Beth says, sometimes my boundaries are weaponized against me. That sounds so familiar, Beth. Definitely so familiar. In those moments, it can be really confronting to look at the situation and ask ourselves if those who are weaponizing our boundaries against us are safe enough people to be around. Yeah, Ninja Taco says, I enforce mine with a locked door. Me too, Ninja Taco. Good for you. Yeah, Jen says, wow, that was difficult. I have a hard time with all of those. Me too, Jen. It's okay. Slow. Slow is the way. Yes. Jeffrey Sherman says, we could write a book on manipulation with all these different comments. You can really see just how we have been controlled and the damage it's done. Absolutely, yes. My hand is on my heart. A quiet inside says, these are all things I've been working on so much in recent years. It brings up so many intense feelings of fear and sadness to actually stand up to hurtful people in this way. It really does, right? Yeah, so true. Betsy says, a part of me pushes back and says, those aren't true when I hear these. Yeah. I have a very similar inner critic, Betsy, an inner tormentor that likes me to have no boundaries. I have a inner tormentor that benefits greatly if I have no boundaries. Not today. Jen says, I've stayed in a marriage and other relationships years and years too long. Same here, Jen. I'm definitely guilty of this, Jen. Toxic accommodation and staying in incompatible situations way past the expiration date. Yeah. Kitty says, I fear creating conflict and upsetting anyone with my boundaries. Yeah, that's valid. That's so valid. And what's also valid is you deserve peace just as much as everyone else. Angela says, anyone know anyone really managing CPTSD well? That's a great question, Angela. Absolutely, yes, I do. We have tons of people. Here, let me give you a link. Here. Absolutely. I think the key is just showing up for ourselves in small ways consistently every day. Yeah. You're not alone. Betsy says, it is reassuring to hear from others that share these unfortunate experiences because so many other people don't understand. That's so true. Very true, Betsy. Oh, Angela. Angela, you're new. I was greeting you as though you were our Angela that has been with us here for like 10 years. We warmly welcome you, Angela. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Oh, Angela says, no one I know understands. Absolutely, Angela. I warmly witness you in this moment, and I want to fully acknowledge how real that is and how valid your feelings are. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And we have entire communities filled with thousands of people away from social media. And we have groups like this twice a day, every day, 365 days a year. Yeah. Just offering so much comfort and support. The quiet inside says, Angela, I can honestly say that I am now, and I've truly walked through hell with it. It takes a long time, but if you keep going, it does get better. Yeah. Well said. Thank you for sharing. Hello, Jennifer. I didn't see you. So glad to have you here. Well, thank you all. Thank you all so much for your presence. We actually finished on time this week. Isn't that a miracle? So as always, please, please be extra kind, patient, and gentle with yourself because you're worth it. And if I don't see you over in our community, then I will see you back here next Monday and every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm so very grateful that you chose to be here and show up for yourself this evening. Good night, everyone.